guys, welcome to Midnight Screaming. My name's Melanie, and today I want to talk about a franchise that is near and dear to my heart, the Scream franchise. I feel like I am just constantly rewatching the various Scream movies just on repeat throughout the year. It's definitely one of my favorite horror movie franchises. I love all the characters, Sydney, Dewey, Gail, oh my gosh. They're such good characters, they're good storylines, these people you actually care about. Unlike other scary movies like Halloween or Friday the 13th, Scream has basically a new villain every movie, and so it's one of those whodunit type films. You're going through the film with all the other characters trying to figure out who's the killer, who could be doing these things, how many killers are there, what's going on. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through all the movies and rank my favorite Ghostface people from 10 to 1, 10 being my least favorite and 1 being my most favorite. I'm ranking these based on who I personally like the most, the kill count, their motive. I've seen other creators do this, so shout out to them. I do not remember who or when, but I have seen this done before. And I'm sure we all have different opinions about who is the best Ghostface, so sorry if you don't agree with me, that's totally fine. Obvious spoilers, if you haven't seen all the Scream movies, I am definitely spoiling who the killer is in each movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled, click on out of this video and come back when you've seen them all. Before the countdown begins, I'm going to shout out this guy, Jason Carvey, and his friend Greg, who we only ever see when he's deceased. Sorry, my dog is here to help me. They're kind of like the bonus... They're kind of like the bonus ghost faces. They had high hopes to become one of the Ghostface killers, but then, they got killed. Jason Carvey did have a kill count of 1, though. He killed Laura Crane at the very beginning of Scream 6. So for that, we give him props. But yeah, they kind of met their demise pretty early on. Okay, at my number 10 spot, I'm grouping together the killers in Scream 6. We got Detective Bailey, Ethan, and Quinn. They're like a family team, a family Ghostface team. Basic motive is to get revenge for their son, our brother, Richie, who was one of the killers in Scream 5. He was killed by Sam, so it's their idea to do all these murders and frame Sam for the murder. It was interesting to have 3 killers, but I didn't find any of them that interesting. I felt like it was kind of predictable that they were somehow involved. No shade to any of the actors are great, but I just didn't think their motivation was that interesting. It must be a real interesting family though, because if there's 4 killers in one family, that's a lot. They do have a kill count of 9 people. Detective Bailey has 6 of those, Ethan has 2, and Quinn has 1. So overall, pretty high count, but I would rate them at my number 10 spot just because, I don't know, I think they were fine, but they weren't my favorite. At my number 9 spot, I'm putting Richie from Scream 5. His main motivation was he's obsessed with the Stab movies. He was really disappointed by the last Stab movie, so his idea was find a partner, make his own, make it a requel, make it new, but kind of throw in some classic characters in there. So he kind of groomed Amber and convinced her to help him kind of enact his plan. I'm rating him so low because he only has one kill count in the whole movie, and I'm not even sure that it was him. I believe Amber did most of the heavy lifting when it comes to the actual plan of murder, so he doesn't get his hands dirty, but he is very good at manipulating people. So yeah, I give him probably my number 9 spot. Okay, at my number 8 spot, I'm putting Charlie Walker from Scream 4. He was one of the killers in Scream 4. His main motivation was he's also big Stab fan. He enjoyed all those movies. He wanted to kind of make his own movie and make him the hero in the movie. So he basically teams up with Jill. Their goal is basically to be famous, be like the heroes of their story at the end, but obviously he, meets his demise. I'm rating him lower because of his kind of secondary motivation, because he really liked Kirby, who didn't really give him the time of day until later on in the events in this film, and he basically just tried to murder her because his little ego was hurt. But thankfully Kirby survived. We got to see her in Scream 6. I hope we continue to see her in future Scream movies. He does kind of have a high kill count. He has an 8 count, which is pretty high. So he did the majority of the heavy lifting in Scream 4. So for that, we'll give him props, but he's rated number 8 for hurting Kirby, who is one of my favorite characters. I'm rating Amber Freeman number 7 She probably deserves to be higher on a list, but I just found her character to be so incredibly annoying. I'm sorry, no shade to the actress in this film. She did a wonderful job, but I just could not stand the character. She did have a higher kill count than her counterpart in Scream 5. I think she has a 5-person kill count. She was really, really intense. She was really intent on, making a great requel. She got her hands dirty. She was just really intense. I do think it's interesting that this actor has been set on fire in 2 movies now, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Scream 5. I don't know, kind of weird that it happened twice. But yeah, Amber is very dedicated, but I just found her to be irritating, so she is at my number 7 spot. Okay, at my number 6 spot, I'm putting Mickey from Scream 2. He was one of the killers in Scream 2. His main motivation was to get caught. He wanted to get caught, be famous, kind of get caught up in the media circus of a trial. That was his main motivation. Apparently he met Nancy Loomis, who is the second killer in this film, online. She paid his tuition to Windsor College. He became friends with Sydney and all of her friends, and they kind of concocted this plan, but unfortunately he obviously does not make it to the end because Nancy is just smarter than him. But he really did, he did a lot. I had a kill count of 6, possibly 7, because I'm not entirely sure who got CC Cooper. It could have been him or Nancy. I don't know. I can find a definitive answer on that. I mean, he's number 6 on my list. Number 5 on this list is Jill Roberts from Scream 4. I like Jill, even though she has a very low kill count. She's like super, super intense, and she knows exactly what she wants, and she knows exactly how to get it. She knows exactly how to manipulate people very well. Her main motivation is just to be famous. She wants to be Sydney, basically the new millennial version of Sydney. That's her motivation. She wants to be the heroine of the story. She wants to be a survivor. She wants the fame and glory that she's seen Sydney have. She's just basically jealous of Sydney. She does have a 2-person count in this film. She knew exactly what to do to get her way, and she almost got away with it. So for that, I give her props, and she's number 5 on my list. I love Stu so much. Stu Macher is one of my favorite characters in the Scream movies, which is kind of messed up because he's one of the killers in the first Scream movie. But I'm rating him number 4 because he literally had no motive. He had 0 motive. He just did it for fun, or he did say he was peer pressured into doing it. But we know him. He was just friends with Billy, and he was like, sure, I'll play. And yeah, he became one of the killers in Scream. So for the lack of motivation, I'm rating him number 4. But he had, a decently high kill count. He had a 5-person kill count. The lack of motivation, he was still a good Ghostface, so I'm rating him number 4. Plus, I just love Matthew Lillard, so that's why he's kind of higher on my list. But he's not like the top 3 spot just because he literally has no motivation to be doing what he's doing. Nancy Loomis gets number 3 on my list. Nancy Loomis's motivation is basically she's getting revenge for her son. The story in the first Scream that relates to Nancy Loomis is that Billy is kind of doing this revenge plot because Sydney's mom slept with his father, which caused his mom, Nancy Loomis, to leave him and kind of abandon him. And so now in Scream 2, we learn that Nancy Loomis has learned of her son's death and is kind of seeking revenge on Sydney for the death of Billy Loomis. So what she does, she gets cosmetic surgery. She loses like 60 pounds, she says. She takes on the alias Debbie Salt, who is a reporter. She meets Mickey online and pays his way into Windsor College, convinces him to kind of do all the dirty work for her, manipulates him. She only has a kill count of 2 or 3. Again, I don't know if she killed CC Cooper or not, but just the planning, the dedication to the plot. I'll give her the number 3 spot basically for that. She was very to the point. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew how to manipulate Mickey. She had a decent motivation for doing what she did, and she didn't really get her hands that dirty. So props to her, number 3 spot. My number 2 spot goes to Roman in Scream 3. This man is the only sole Ghostface in the Scream franchise so far. He did all the murders himself. He killed everyone in that movie himself. I think he probably has the best motivation for any of the Ghostfaces in any of the Scream movies. His motivation in this film is related to Maureen Prescott's backstory. We learn a lot more about her character. We learned that Maureen Prescott was trying to make it as an actress. She was assaulted by a group of men at a Hollywood party. and thus became pregnant with Roman. She had Roman, put him up for adoption, and Roman was trying to figure out who his real mother was. He was able to track down Maureen Prescott, who was going by a different name at the time. He came to her door expecting to kind of be greeted with open arms, but she shut the door in his face and said, "I don't want anything to do with you." He was very angry at Maureen, and he started kind of taking pictures of her and gathering evidence that she was having multiple affairs. Apparently, he approached Billy Loomis, showed him a picture of Maureen Prescott and Billy Loomis's father having an affair, and he convinced Billy to do the murders in Scream 1, basically on his account. Scream 1, and now we're at Scream 3, and he is basically having to take matters into his own hands. He wants to get revenge on Sydney for basically having the life that he felt that he deserved all along. He has one of the highest soul kill counts. He is at a 9 kill count. I feel like his motivation is pretty sound. It was pretty traumatic. He probably has a right to be angry, absolutely no right to commit murder, but I did think it was interesting, the tie-in between him and Billy Loomis in the first movie. Yeah, so giving him the number 2 slot because his motivation is interesting and he did all the dirty work himself. My number 1 spot goes to the OG Billy Loomis. His main motivation was to get revenge on the fact that his mother abandoned him after Maureen Prescott had an affair with his father. He kind of wanted to get revenge on Sydney and make her suffer like he suffered. He only really has like a kill count of 3 people, I believe. So not very high, but he is the OG killer. He is incredibly attractive. He's very attractive, which is another reason why I probably rated him number 1. But come on, it's Billy. It's Billy Loomis. So he gets my number 1 spot for sure. He's the one that started it all, so he deserves number 1. Anyway, that's my list. Thanks for sticking with me. I'd love to hear your ranking of the different ghost faces, so please feel free to leave that in the comments. Again, these are just my opinions. I love all of the Scream movies. I really just highly enjoyed them. I cannot wait for Scream 7. I'm very curious to see what that's going to be about. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's my list, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.